Hey guys, so now I'm going to do one of the tags. This one was one I saw, sorry, reading off a tablet. That looks dirty. This time, this video is going to be like a tag that I saw on several people's YouTubes. I think it's kind of interesting just because, where I've lived for a time, and I kind of think where I live now, sometimes how you're raised changes the way you say things, and I think it's kind of an interesting way to figure out something about people. Right? Right. Okay, so let's start with how this is gonna work. There's some words and sentences that kind of make you say a word, and see if you have like your regional dialect has different words for it. Now, here's the clincher. I grew up in Michigan. However, my family all grew up in Michigan, but on my mom's side, she was raised kind of like with a very strict grammar Nazi style, so there's some things that I think I say subconsciously from being corrected like 6,000 times. And then I was a child who was in the very early 90s. As a child, there was no such thing as National Geographic Channel. I spent a lot of time watching old school Discovery, which was like National Geographic meets BBC documentaries. So there are words that, and I pretty much only watch documentaries now. A lot of them are always from BBC because they just have more good ones. Anyway, so point being is that I think the dialect can be affected by that, and then you have to throw in the fact that for, I want to say like 6 years, it might even be 7, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia on my own for school. And in Atlanta, I learned that there are a lot of things you must say in the regional dialect words, if not attempt to speak with enough of an accent that people are not rude to you or don't act like they literally have no clue what you're saying. It's not like I have a strong British accent or anything, so I really don't understand that concept. I just played along because I wanted to get through my clinicals and stuff without, sorry, there's something in my eye, without having like a giant issue with people saying I was being rude, and I wasn't really being rude. So I'm just going to keep blinking until it goes away. Let's start. These are the words, and they just say for me to say them. Aunt, as in your sister's or father's sister. Roof. That's interdependent upon what like sentence I'm saying. Route. I would say I'm routing something, but if you said it was Route 66, I would say route. I feel like this is going to be difficult. Wash, oil, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, sure, data, as in data plan on your phone, ruin, crayon, New Orleans, pecan, both, again, probably, spitting image. Huh. If I'm saying that fast enough, and I was down south, it'd be spitting image. Lawyer, coupon, mayonnaise, syrup, pajamas, caught, naturally, aluminum, an envelope. And there are 10 questions. Let's see how well this works. What is it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? We call that TPing. There was something else that I've heard it called, but I would just call it TPing. What is the bug that when you touch it, it curls into a ball? A roly-poly. There's something else that it was supposed to be called. I don't remember. What is the bubbly carbonated drink called? It's soda. It's hilarious. I spent 23 years here, and I called it pop. constantly. And I moved to Georgia. I lived in Atlanta where Coca-Cola headquarters is. And also, I worked in a grocery store. I quickly learned that calling it pop was never going to get me anywhere and I was going to be screwed. I started saying soda deliberately and now it just comes out of my mouth and I sound wrong in my head when I'm saying pop. It's weird. What do you call gym shoes? Tennis shoes or sneakers? Both. What do you say to address a group of people? Y'all. Or all of you. Depending on how I'm phrasing this. Want to be sassy, it's y'all. If I'm being very direct, it's going to be, could all of you get over here right now? Or the lot of you, which I think I say more often than all of you. I just feel like it's more direct. What do you call the kind of spider-like creature that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? Daddy long legs? What do you call your grandparents? Grandpa and Grandma. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries at the supermarket? I've called it that before when I can't remember the name. I call it a shopping cart. However, I called it a buggy for 6 years because saying shopping cart, people would hand me their card, their membership card to Kroger. Yeah, I called it a buggy there. It sometimes slips out of my mouth when I'm talking to my son. I almost always call it a shopping cart. Or the little baskets, I call them hand carts because I used to call them baskets and then I learned that's not what they're called. What do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining? Rain. What is the thing that you change the TV channel with? That is called the remote control. However, I also call it the controller. Occasionally I call it the clicker. Clicker, usually to me, I refer to that as the car one, or alternatively, the one you also open your garage door from your house with. That seems to be the end of this. Regional dialect is strange in America. If you're not from here, I'm sure. I remember Ireland and England had similar anomalies in speech patterns when you move to different spots in the country. That happens here too, to a much larger extent. What I find moderately hilarious about accents, I'm going to put this down, it's a lot heavier than it looks. What I remember moderately strange about accents is that when I watch people from other countries, they seem to all think we have southern accents, which is very misleading because most television channels you watch, celebrities and other people who are on the mainstream news do not have a southern accent per se. They have what I would call the very homogenized California meets New York, not New York. Not Midwest, but because they consider Michigan Midwest, but if you've ever seen a map, we are clearly like Mid-East. You combine those two, you get the very homogenized, almost non-accent accent. Sometimes you hear it, even though our news reporters have gone to school to get rid of their southern accents or whatnot. You hear it when they say certain words and you can kind of pick it out. But generally speaking, I kind of go in that level of not having an accent. I just found that amusing because I've talked to a few people who are surprised that not every single American has a deep southern accent, and even in Atlanta not everybody has a deep southern accent because it is one of those cities, since I live downtown or midtown, that a lot of people transplant from other parts in the country who don't have southern accents. So it wasn't that weird for me. I just had to learn to call things by their names. Things that come with lists that I can read off questions right now seem to be the best way for me to do things. And I know my hands are a weird color. Circulation, man. There's one more I'd like to do. So if you guys want to do this same thing, like leave a comment and I can give you a list. Or I'll just put it on the Facebook thing because you can make videos on Facebook. But I'm going to do the next one now. I'm on a roll. I want to get as many as done as I can because when my son wakes up, I have to go back to feeling like I want to stand up and pass out, but have to do it because he is 2 and doesn't know any better. I love you guys. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. If you are still here today and this is all you've done for the day, you've at least woken up and done something. You are special, and there is no reason that you can't just try tomorrow. Everything doesn't have to be right away. I'm only saying that because it's also reaffirming how I feel about my life, so don't feel like I'm trying to like push people to procrastinate forever because there's always those people on any social media. If you'd like to, you can subscribe to this channel or use the same exact name of the channel on Instagram, Snapchat, Tumbler, Twitter. I think that's it. And connect. I have a site with almost all of those things, and it would be great if we could build a small little family together. Or I don't want to say family, how about community? Where if you're anxious about things, we're not going to yell at you for doing anxiety wrong. Have a good one.